My friends, if you're white, you're guilty. You heard me. If you're white, you're evil. I know that because I heard a presidential candidate say it. Welcome to Real Truth. My name is Howard Real. Marianne Williamson is one of the nitwits who wants the Democrat nomination for president. She recently spoke in front of an audience. This is from the Daily Caller via YouTube. It's already on my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. Marianne Williamson wanted the audience, said, if you're white, I want you to stand up, I want you to face the black members of the audience, and I want you to repeat this prayer. My friends, when I heard this, I absolutely could not believe that this was actually happening in this solar system. And then I realized Marianne Williamson, like many of her Democrat cohorts, doesn't live in this solar system. You listen and you be the judge.
As I speak, I'm going to ask the white Americans in the room to please repeat after me. On behalf of myself and on behalf of my country, to you and all African Americans, from the beginning of our nation's history, in honor of your ancestors and on behalf of your children, please hear this from my heart. I apologize. Please forgive us. With this prayer, I acknowledge the depth of the evils that have been perpetrated against Black people in America. From slavery to lynchings to white supremacist laws to the denial of voting rights to all the ways, both large and small, all of them evil, all of them wrong, for all the oppression and all of the injustices. I apologize. Please forgive us.
Well, first of all, the government should never have made the deal with the big pharma.
My friends, this is a call-in show. You know the call-in number, 877-254-7524. If you own slaves right now, I want you to call in and I want you to tell me what it's like being a slave owner in the 21st century. I'm sorry, what are you saying? Oh, there are no more slaves. Oh, does that mean there are no more slave owners? Oh, okay. I got it. All right. Little course correction. All right. 877-254-7524. If you used to own slaves, I want you to call in and I'm sorry, what's that? No one alive today has owned slaves? All right. All right, scratch that. If your parents owned slaves, I want you to call me at 87. I'm sorry, what are you saying? No one's parents owned slaves. Well, wait a minute. How long ago was slavery? When were the slaves freed? The 1800s. Oh. So there's no one alive on planet Earth, nor has there been for a long time, who owned slaves. Is that what you're telling me? All right. All right, forget that. All right, 877-254-7524. If you have been a slave, I want you to call the show and speak to us. What's that? There are no slaves alive anymore? Oh. Okay, well then if your parents were slaves in America, please call us and talk to... What is it? What now? No one's parents were slaves. Well, where are all the slaves? They're all dead. Oh. Well, wait a minute. Let me see if I understand what you're telling me. Anyone who ever owned a slave in America is long dead, right? And anyone who ever was a slave in America is long dead, right? And America is the richest, most powerful country in the world as opposed to the countries in Africa where the slaves came from, which are desperately poor and ridden with disease. Is that what you're telling me? Oh. Well, then why would Marianne Williamson want people living today who never owned slaves to make up for slavery by paying people today who never were slaves? I mean, what is she, crazy? Oh, she is. Oh. Well, I mean, if the woman's nuts, wouldn't she stand out on the stage with all those other Democrat candidates? She wouldn't? What are you telling me, that they're all nuts? They've all got a screw loose? They're all crazy? You're nodding, yes. They're all well, you know what? You're right. As a white person who never owned a slave, whose family wasn't even in the United States when slavery was going on, Marianne Williamson can kiss my ass. I will apologize for things that I have done. I'm not going to apologize for things that other people back in the 1800s did who are not related to me, didn't represent me, didn't have my permission, and I've got to fork over cash to people who also were not. Reparations, maybe, I'm willing to discuss this, may be the single stupidest thing coming out of the mouths of Democrats who are admittedly stupid people. I'm also hearing people talking about reparations for LGBT people. Reparations for, I don't know, come up with it. People who've worked as clowns, people who can ride unicycles. How about reparations for people who are left-handed? Can we get a collection going for people who are missing a finger? After all, they're all victims, right? They've been victimized by you because you're white. My friends, I hope the tragic comedy of this opening segment has not eluded you. The Democrats want things that no rational, sane, intelligent person would ever want, which is why it's absolutely essential that we vote Democrats out of office at every single level of government. Because what they want and what they want to do will wreck the ship of state and imperil our lives and those of our children. It's Wednesday. It's Real Truth. We'll be right back. My friends, it is Wednesday. My name is Howard Real. What's that? You say yes, that's correct. The same Howard Real who wrote Real Truth, Stay Angry, spectacular book about conspiracy, but not nutball conspiracy, the very real conspiracy being perpetrated against the American people going back to the early 1900s by the wealthy, the powerful, the elite, and if you think that's not exactly who the swamp is today, you're mistaken. Real Truth, Stay Angry. Go to virtualbookworm.com, buy a copy. You can also find it on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. Real Truth, Stay Angry. You will not be able to put it down. Now, I stumbled across a video today by a young African-American woman named Patricia Dixon. She explains at the very beginning, she was at work, she was at lunch, she jumped into a car to make this video. What she says is absolutely spot on correct. It's pure 100% truth. I just sent the woman an email telling her I respect the hell out of her making this video. In the wake of all the hubbub over Baltimore, the rat-infested toilet called Baltimore, and of course everybody's screaming Trump's a racist, here's an African-American woman giving us the truth about what's going on in Maryland. Here she goes. Talking about Elijah Cummings. All right, let's stop right there. She's so right. The Democrats don't care about inner city blacks, and they don't care about children on the southern border. She said it right. It's all a show. It's all a sleight of hand designed to fool you, my friends. They come on like these righteous, bleeding heart. They don't care. They're into power. You think Elijah Cummings cares about inner city Baltimore? He's got his. He's been living like a king for decades. He'll continue to live like a king. There are questions about his wife and whether she did wrongdoing. They don't care. The Democrats don't care about you.
You have, oh my God.
Mostly run by Democrat black people. Not mostly, almost totally run by Democrats. They don't care. They've allowed these nations, inner cities, to go right down the toilet because they just plain don't care. Democrats care about themselves.
Well, I want these Democrats, these black people that's voted for Democrats to wake up. Think about that. They're telling you that white people are racist, and they're taking money from you and putting it in their own pockets or doing whatever, and they're letting you live in rat-infested places, and it doesn't bother them. So who's the racist? Who is the real racist? People, tell me that. Who is the real racist if he's your representative? And they don't care that you live like that. They don't care what happens to you, year after year after year. So I just had to say that because I noticed that nobody's talking about. Trump saying, "Where did all the money go? Where did all the money go?" And that's why I say we, as believers, if you're a believer, it's really time to pray for President Trump now, because I'm telling you, we got this pedophile thing going on that's going to get exposed, and then there's all this money that's been stolen for years about to be exposed. This is warfare, spiritual warfare, and here on earth dealing with humans. With warfare, it's dangerous. This is dangerous right now. This is dangerous, and I just wanted to touch on that. I said, you know what, I need to make this video right now while it's fresh on my mind, because this is something that nobody is addressing. That when President Trump, because like I said, even they said Obama made a rare rebuke. In other words, he usually don't come out and rebuke President Trump. But why do you think he came out and made that rare rebuke? Because he's touching on something. He's touching on the corruption. So I just wanted to say that let's all pray for President Trump and his entire.
And by the way, my friends, first of all, hats off to Patricia Dixon. You can do more than pray. You can vote for Republicans up and down the ticket. You can support Republican candidates if you've got the ability, support them with money or volunteer, or even if it's simply doing what this young woman did, get out your phone, talk into it, make a video, and tell people the truth. I've been saying for years, as long as I've been on the show, I want my listeners to be activists. Remember, I used to say, if you're not an actor, you're not a factor. I like that. And it's true. All this woman did was set her telephone, I guess she has it up on her rearview mirror, and she talks and she tells the truth, and then she posts it online. If you do that, it's tremendous. It's huge. Truth has to be spoken out loud where people can hear it. That's why I've done this show for free for almost 11 years. This coming month, August, will be 11 years. Truth has to be broadcast because there are so many lies being broadcast on all the major media outlets. They spend billions of dollars to blast their lies across the country and across the world. And so it's left to schleppers like me to come on the radio and get some truth out there. I am honored to present Patricia Dixon. After I watched her video, I sent her an email saying she has my incredible respect for making this video. My friends, you could do precisely the same thing. Take out your phone, videotape yourself, speaking truth to power, speaking truth against the PC group, speaking truth to the people who want to bring this great nation down and turn Americans against Americans. Get out your phone, make a video, put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube, put it every place online that you can. If you're a supporter of Donald Trump, say so. If you're a patriot, say so. If you recognize the Democrats are liars and losers and what they want is terrible for America, say so. Get the truth out in the airwaves, like this young woman did, like I'm doing. Doesn't take any special credentials. All it takes is a phone and an internet connection. It's so important. And, I said, I think it was yesterday, that I liken truth to music. It's like listening to beautiful music. I listened to this video with a smile on my face because this is truth. To counter the obnoxious lies that are so common today. We're being brought down by lies and people with agendas. And it makes me sick because if America ever, God forbid, goes down, all the lights go out in this world. So as soon as the show is over, get out your phone. Do what Patricia Dixon just did. Speak your piece. If you want to make notes first to make sure you don't leave anything out, do that. Post it on social media. And that's how we win. And that's how America wins. And that's how our children and grandchildren win. And by extension, it's how the whole planet Earth wins. All right, we'll take a commercial break and we'll be right back with more Real Truth.
In America, that's what we do. Our health and nutrition profile is a free 1-hour interview with one of our counselors. We look at what you eat, what you drink, exercise, medication, environment you work in, food you crave, stress, health, history of your family history. Everything we suggest green or deposit? We usually suggest between 2 and 5 days. 60 capsules or 50, but remember, you are not obligated to purchase anything. Call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372 to set your no obligation appointment. Suffering from low T, man up. Grab your rod and play. Come close to upper north side valley. Take the hot springs out. Call Crowd Famous out for their 60-8873 or book a trip at crowdfamous.com. At the end of your trip, in the hot springs, you'll be happy and you'll love it. Why did this team America is slowly sinking? Whose fault is it? It's not the Obamas or the Clintons. It's not Republicans or Democrats. It's not corporations, the military, or foreign countries. It's the Federal Reserve. The central banking system made up of private bankers that corrupt and control virtually all aspects of the world's money supply and economy. All of the major problems of the world are from the Federal Reserve, central banks, and other countries. Hi, I'm Steve from the Colorado Summit. Catch my show with co-host Brian here on KKNC 3 to 4 Monday through Friday. We sell gold and silver in the best way to protect your hard-earned money. Call 800-951-0592 and keep those blood-sucking bankers out of your wallet.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. You know, African American women love me, and I love them. I love anyone who speaks the truth, because that will set us all free, all Americans. Diamond and Silk are two African American young women who have been speaking truth from the very beginning of Donald Trump's candidacy all the way through his presidency. And here they are again. They've got a direct message for Elijah Cummings, the scummy congressman, who's been a race hustler for years, gotten where he's gotten just by screaming racism, hasn't done a thing for the people he's supposed to be representing. Here are Diamond and Silk. Folks, if it seems like no one cares, it's usually because no one cares. These are Democrat-run cities, and believe me, the Democrats don't care. So here's what's going on, my friends. Let me jump in, ladies. Excuse me. The Democrats know they're going to get the black vote. Period. They're going to get a whopping percentage of the black vote. And I don't know why. And there are a lot of black people out there in the media today also who don't know why. Blacks have gotten nothing but bad news, lack of service, disrespect from the Democrat Party for decades. So maybe it's time for blacks to stop reflexively voting for Democrats, because the Democrats take you for granted. They know they're going to get your vote, so they don't need to do anything for you. They want the votes of illegals coming here. California illegals can already vote. They want to make that standard across the United States. They bring in people who have nothing and who can only survive if they vote Democrat, because Democrats are the party of giveaways, free stuff. They're importing voters. They're rigging the game, and that's why cities like Baltimore get nothing but talk from Democrats, but illegal aliens from around the world, they get everything the Democrats can give them.
That burns me out. I know it do. Well, you know, you're talking about these people over these districts. Nancy Pelosi, we're in California. Mm-hmm. Nancy Pelosi is over a district. But I heard, and you all please, let me know if this is true. Mm-hmm. I heard that the governor of California is Nancy Pelosi's nephew. It has been alleged that is her nephew. And if that is true, it looks like they're trying to keep it all in the family. And that's why you have corruption. Yeah. And that's why you have what you have going on in California. Right there in California. I just want to know if it's true. Yeah. Because that needs to be noted and pointed out.
And then you have then I had to go ahead and tweet Elijah.
Go ahead, girl.
Okay. I let him know, wish you had the same passion for homeless American children defecating in the streets of Maryland, California, etc. They don't have toilets and showers. They sleep on concrete.
That's right.
Not mats. Maybe homeless Americans should seek asylum at the border to get a mat and 3 meals a day. Maybe that's what they should do, Elijah. Because what you all are sitting up there doing up there, you have more compassion for people that's not even supposed to be here. And I thought charity starts at home, not abroad.
Don't start at home.
And if you sit in Congress, you're supposed to defend the laws of the United States of America, not help people break them. So Elijah Cummings is a disgrace from start to finish. People in Baltimore and around Maryland know it. They're getting a little press exposure now thanks to President Trump, who has put Baltimore and the pathetic conditions center stage in America. Everybody's talking about Baltimore, and that's why Baltimore is going to get some action, and there will be improvements. But left to their own devices, Democrats won't change a thing. Why should they? Isn't it more fun and more profitable to be corrupt? I'd say we've had enough corruption, enough dereliction of duty, and more than enough Democrats. We'll be back.
We can buy gold just about anywhere in the world for all kinds of different deals. But one thing you used to pay for is for 220 years. Ain't no trading, and it's just like that. Colorado with 500 guns to choose from. Call 303-772-7952.
All right, guys, a lot of talk in the media now about BDS. When you get anti-Semites like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar talking about BDS, if you're not familiar with it, it stands for Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions. It is pure 100% anti-Semitism. The claim is that these nudniks, losers and haters and anti-Semites have to oppose Israel because Israel is an apartheid state. Well, that would be fine, except Israel is not and never has been an apartheid state. It's a state infested with terrorists and murderers called Palestinians. Well, here is a young black woman. I told you that seems to be the recurring theme. I didn't do it on purpose on my show today, talking about the evils and the fakeness, the falseness of BDS, the BDS movement. Here we go.
Let me take you back a few years ago, if I may. It is April 1st, 1933. The Nazis have won a large number of seats in the German parliament. They call for a national boycott of Jewish businesses. They post signs on Jewish businesses that say, outright from Jews and Jews go to Palestine. These boycotts spread to Poland and to Austria, to Canada and even the U.S., to Hungary and to the Middle East. Hotels, restaurants, and cafes all Jews come into. Jews are allowed to become teachers, to
absolutely correct. Go to my Facebook page. I posted this video up there, Real Truth Radio. I love the sound of truth. I love people bold enough, courageous enough to speak truth. And so often these days, truth is unpopular, and that's a sign of the retrograde nature of the world we're living in. But speaking truth is what it's all about. So let's do some right now before we get to the next commercial break. Item from the Associated Press. The liberal firebrands Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren slapped back against moderate rivals who ridiculed Medicare for All during Tuesday night's Democrat presidential debate, in which lesser-known pragmatists warned that, quote, wish list economics would jeopardize the presidency. The tug-of-war over the future of the party early in the 2020 season pits voters' hearts against their heads as they balance their desire for an aggressive response to President Donald Trump against finding a safe choice who can win. Unquote. My friends, it isn't about winning. It's about helping Americans lead better lives. I wish the Democrats would know that. I wish they would value that. And yes, what they're using is well described as wish list economics. Can't possibly do anything but bankrupt this country. Item from Breitbart. The Norwegian government has come under fire from pro-migrant groups after announcing it would be removing refugee status from some 1,600 Somalians and sending them back to Somalia, noting that the situation in the country had improved. Unquote. Norway. Why is Norway smarter than America? They're taking their Muslim immigrants who came here really under false pretenses and getting the hell rid of them. So as long as a precedent has been set for getting rid of Somalians, anybody have Ilhan Omar's mailing address? We'll be right back.
Before hiring a realtor from a big corporation who outsources their job and pays little to no taxes, ask yourself, what do you want from a realtor? You need a realtor that's honest and has integrity. A realtor who's focused on the client's bottom line, not the realtor's bottom line. Who provides personal, over-the-top service before, during, and after the transaction. You want a realtor that knows how to market your property. Hi, I'm Jake Morgan, a realtor with Grisham and Associates LLC. I am your Colorado real estate specialist. Land deals, mountain cabins, or urban dwellings, I've got you covered. For the first-time home buyer, we will make it the best experience. If you are looking to move up or downsizing, we will do better than your last transaction. Call me today at 720-203-0731 or visit coloradoproperties.online. Let me do a great job for you. Grandpa's Pawn and Gun celebrated 25 years of business. They're family-owned and family-operated stores and the only non-corporate pawn shop. They're today's second highest volume inspired to Grandpa has over 500 guns for sale 6 times plus an excellent variety of large vehicles. Hunting season is just around the corner. Protecting your family is always Grandpa's staff has over 5 years of experience, including good stores, Brady, Hale, Roll, 25 plus years hunting Grandpa. Jason here. I've known Rod, the owner of Grandpa's Farm. He was our first advertiser at KHNC. He is trustworthy and honest. I trust him, and you will too. Call 303-772-7952. That's 303-772-7952.
Item from freebeacon.com. Democratic candidates for the 2020 nomination have promised more than $210 trillion in new spending across the field, analysis by the Washington Free Beacon shows. Stop. Folks, let that number sink in. You know what? Don't bother, because it can't and it won't. $210 trillion, not million and not billion, $210 trillion in new spending that the Democrats want. You might as well just tie an anchor around this country's neck and toss it in the ocean. That will be the end of us. Democrats want to spend as if we don't already owe more than $22 trillion in debt. They want to add $210 trillion. Absolutely obscene. If you love your children, you could never, ever support something like that. Item from Newsmax. The Trump administration says it will set up a system allowing Americans to legally access lower-cost prescription drugs from Canada. The administration's move comes as the industry is facing a litany of consumer complaints over drug prices, as well as legislation from both parties in Congress to rein in costs. President Trump is supporting a Senate bill to cap medication costs for Medicare recipients. Unquote. My friends, the hack whore politicians talk, and Trump does. Now he's going to be bringing down the cost of medicine. I absolutely love it. Item. Marianne Williamson called for up to $500 billion in reparations for African Americans. Quote, it's $200 billion to $500 billion payment of a debt that is owed. That's what reparations is, she said. Unquote. My friends, of all the Democrat candidates who are detached from reality, she is the most detached. And by the way, Marianne Williamson says, if you're white, you're guilty. Item from the EpicTimes.com. Children are being rented, bought, recycled, and kidnapped so that single adults, mostly men from Central America, can gain quick release into the United States after crossing the border illegally. The cost of renting a child varies. Quote, Kevin McAleenan, acting secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, says, quote, we've had indications it could cost anywhere from a few hundred or even in some cases less than $100 or up to $1,000 or more, unquote. So the people trying to break into our country are buying, selling, and renting children. Is that the kind of human garbage you want here in America? Item from the Associated Press, Dateline Berlin. German police have opened an investigation into a report from a prominent Berlin rabbi that he was insulted and spat at as he was heading home from synagogue with his son, unquote. My friends, one of the new faces of Islam is its German face. And that's what's going on. Now, given the collective guilt that Germans feel over the Holocaust, and they should feel it, I would expect that they would put a collar, put a leash on their Muslim anti-Semitic population, make sure they can play nice with other children or send them to the kiddies' table back where they came from. And if the Germans don't do that, then all they're doing is resurrecting the age of Hitler, the age of Kristallnacht, the age of concentration camps. If the Germans, of all people on the planet, won't act to stem the tide of anti-Semitism, then they stand condemned more than any other people in this world. All right, I think that we are done. Tomorrow is Thursday. Tomorrow should be August 1st. On August 24th, we'll be celebrating my 11-year anniversary here on Real Truth. You are all invited. You're invited tomorrow also for a blast of truth in a time when truth is so hard to come by. I'll see you tomorrow.